Good evening. It is 6 p.m. and we're going to begin with the Monday, April 10th, 2023 McAlester Board of Education meeting. Mrs. Hugh, will you take the roll?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, 2.1. So there's reorganization of the Board of Education tonight. This happens after any voter period or any election, which it would have been mine. So as of this month, I will start my second term. So right now, I will take any nominations for president.
I will nominate George Tribby for president.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second for Mr. Rock. Mrs. Few.
Mr. Rock?
Yes.
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 Moving on with vice president, I will nominate Shelley Colbert. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Fields. Mrs. Few.
Mr. Rock?
Yes.
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 And moving on to clerk, I will take nominations for clerk. Do I have a nomination?
Nominate Cameron.
I have a nomination of Cameron Fields. Do I have a second? Second from Mr. Rock. Mrs. Few.
Mr. Rock?
Yes.
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 Okay, so we are moving forward we are at Jefferson Early Childhood Center, and we are privileged to be here tonight. We will start with 2.2 and 2.3 with the flag salute and the invocation.
Would you please stand and join us for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, would you please bow your heads with me? Dear Lord, we thank you so much for today. Pray that you'd watch over us in this meeting. Pray that good business would be had, that you would bless all those in attendance. I pray that you just watch over our school district as we try to finish strong with this school year, that you would just watch over us this summer as we continue to grind and try to do the best for our kids for next year. Just watch over us in everything we do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, welcome to Jefferson Early Childhood Center. We've got a little bit of a show planned for you tonight, so while we're getting things ready for our 3-year-old class to sing, we're going to have our staff come by and introduce themselves and then prepare for a dance. If you guys would like to join us on the carpet for a dance, you can do that for sure. And can I get all of my 3-year-old friends come and join me on the carpet? And let's get a great cowboy dance.
name is Cassie Cooper, and I'm one of the teachers here at Jefferson.
My name is Talia Haynes, and I'm a teacher at the 4-year-old University.
My name is Marcia Bishop. I'm one of the 3-year-old teachers.
I'm Patty Salinas, and I work with Ms. Marcia with the 3-year-olds.
My name is Stephanie Fields, and I'm an assistant with Mrs. Clark.
My name is Tiffany Villa, and I'm one of the 3-year-old teachers.
My name is Brandy Good, and I'm the assistant in Ms. Miller's room.
My name is Tiffany Hill, and I'm one of the pre-K teachers.
My name is Amy Melton, and I work with Ms. Vita in the Toledos. My name is Lori Sensible, and I work with Ms. Hill in the 4-year-olds. My name is Madeline Prince, and I work with Ms. Wilson. My name is Ashley Helmer, and I'm a paraprofessional, and I work in Ms. Wilson's room.
I am Ms. Wilson, and I am the preschool teacher. I'm Janet Taylor, and I'm also a pre-K teacher.
Put this down for the short one. My name is Cindy Clark. I teach pre-K.
My name is Rena Bledsoe, and I also teach pre-K.
Okay, so we have Miss Marcia and Miss Patty's 3-year-old class here with us today, really some of them. And one of the things that we often do just to get the wiggles out is we call them brain breaks or whatever. We sing, we dance, we act crazy, and this is the class favorite for this year. It's a video with Danny Go, and it's called Cowboy Dance. So here we go. All right, you guys can stand up.
Howdy, partner. You ready to do a line dance? Yeah, we're gonna pretend to be cowboys. Come on, it'll be fun. Start with your hands and hips and arch in place. There you go. Now follow me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. You're getting the hang of it. Now we're gonna do a few more moves. You ready to follow along? Let's go.
That was fun. Thank you guys for teaching me. Bye. You have to hear this. This little girl sitting next to me looked at me and she goes, you don't fit on this rug. Thanks. So cute. Okay. Thank you guys for coming. And thank you for what you do. Okay, moving on to Mrs. Robin STEIDLEY with the NPS Gifted and Talented program.
Can everybody hear me? Great. We couldn't quite hear in the back, so we want to make sure that when I'm announcing names, they hear it. My name is Robin STEIDLEY. I don't know if you know me. I was a high school teacher for 25 years. I retired a couple years ago and was rehired part-time in charge of the Gifted and Talented program and the EL, English Language Learner program, which I've been really enjoying and also learning a lot and growing with as the program grows here. We currently serve 247 gifted and talented students, grade 2 through 12. That number should grow as we go on. We were affected by the pandemic. A lot of the kids weren't tested, especially in the early ages during the pandemic. And we also recently approved, the Gifted and Talented Committee approved some fine arts matrices that include like creativity, fine arts, and leadership. So that number should grow next year. I would like to recognize the Gifted and Talented sponsors. I'm not sure if they're all here, but if they'll stand when I call their name. At Edmund Doyle is Miss Holly Quintana. At Emerson is Miss Amy Oxner. At Will Rogers is Miss Denise Morgan. At Parker Intermediate Center is Miss Tiffany Sutterfield. At Peterborough Middle School is Miss Sandra Sanchez. At McAlester High School is Miss Mandy Hatch, a counselor there, and Mr. David STEIDLEY, who also is kind of more focused on fine arts. These sponsors, I don't want to leave some up, but these sponsors met at least quarterly. This is, by the way, brand new. This has not been done since, gosh, I've been here 27 years, since maybe my first 10 years, and it kind of went away. So I'm so grateful that it's come back. They've been able to pull kids, do interest surveys, do activities. The little ones are doing experiments, STEM, and all that. Some really great things coming from it. And finally, they're also been able to do field trips. And I want to right now also thank very much the administration for allowing that to happen. School board, you're part of that too, because without your support and agreement, we'd still be kind of doing the same old. And we really want to grow our kids and enrich these kids and help them shine. Thank you once again to our sponsors that have given a lot of their heart. They've met more than quarterly, and they all did field trips, which with the little kids, I don't know. So speaking of field trips, I do have a short slide presentation that I'm going to show you, and it just shows some pictures of some of the experiments and some of their field trip.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, CROSSLAND construction update.
Danny, whether it's worth it or not, I'll do it. Just do it. All right, I'll do it. Good afternoon or good evening. I'm Josh with CROSSLAND Construction. Just to give a quick update on the middle school. Right now, as you can see, the exterior is kind of coming to a wrap as far as all the items coming up. Asphalt paving is the next big one that's going to happen in about the next 2 weeks. So we'll have the parking lots in, and it'll start looking like a final complete project, we would say. We have all the final grading, and then sod landscape is right behind it. We're already putting in all the topsoil right now for final grade. So we're already shaping some of the slopes and getting it ready for the last leg, we would say. Interior, the exterior doors, all the aluminum doors, they're shipping on Friday, so we'll have them potentially next week, and then the exterior, all the wood doors you see that are temporary right now will go away. Flooring, so we've turned on HVAC units. We've got 4 units in the classroom wings, the lower wing, and 4 units turned on in the upper wings. That's just to acclimate the building. So with that, painter he's going to he'll start hitting the classroom wings, work his way out. Then our ceiling tile, it's already on site, that'll get installed, and then flooring right behind it. Flooring will start next week. So all the flooring in the classrooms will start going in next week. Millwork's on site being installed. It's installed in, I would say, probably 80% or more of the classrooms right now, and they're working on the Area A kind of office space for the middle school, and then the trophy cases at the front entry. So millwork's coming along real nice. Terrazzo will be there in about 2 weeks to start putting in all the terrazzo flooring in the cafeteria and the mezzanine, but to the elevator. Building signage is the next one, kind of just putting another exterior piece that makes it look really nice when you have all the letters in the building. So that'll look real good then. Kitchen equipment will be there. They're supposed to come this week to deliver all the kitchen equipment and start setting it, hooking it up. So that's the next. That's a big checkbox to mark off once we get the kitchen done. Outside of that, at the end of this month, you'll see all the tent fencing, our office trailer. That all goes away at the end of the month. So that's just kind of our next step is we're moving into the building by the end of the month, and then from there just wrap up everything inside, punch list, and get everything completed. Scoreboard, another one, the school board gets installed on Saturday. Progressing very nicely. Been a lot of speed bumps along the way, but we're cruising very nice, and looking forward to getting this project completed. Any questions from the board or anybody?
It's looking good. I've been by it a couple of times, and I was just asking Mr. Fields if he had seen the glass looks so good on that front side when you go past it. So looks great. Anybody have any questions?
If there's any questions that come up afterwards, by all means, email, I think Ms. Meadows or Casey can give me the questions if anything comes up, or if the community has any questions, by all means, like we'd love to. We're here to, we're community builders. We're here to help out in any way we can. So if the community has questions, I'd love to answer those questions. Just to, full transparency of where we're at. So.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, TCS construction update.
Yes, Matt Graves with AIP. So we have been waiting the last couple of months for the fire marshal's inspection that is scheduled for this Thursday at 10 a.m. So we will be there, and hopefully by noon we'll get occupancy and be able to start using the kitchen following that.
Yes, that is moving noise. Yay. That's great.
Round of applause, whatever we can do.
That's right.
So we'll be here. We'll see y'all Thursday at lunch.
Okay. All right. Is there any questions? Great news. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Singleton, do you have some guests?
Yes, we have some guests. First we have Casey Whitley. These are our student athletes who have signed college scholarships to continue their educational careers. Casey, we missed the last board meeting. He had a family obligation, but he's here tonight. He is signed with Southwestern University of Kansas. And then we have Cole Allen. Cole, here's a basketball player who recently signed with Eastern Oklahoma State College. Really excited about that opportunity for him. Stay close to home. I know his dad said he used to do a little more fishing, so he's kind of excited about that. And also, he was just recognized by the Oklahoma Coach Association as a 5A All-Star by class. So we're excited for these two individuals. Jada Haldeman, we're going to recognize her tonight. She had a family obligation to come up, but she is signed with the University of Texas Rio Grande, and she was just recently selected to the OCA East All-State team. So we're really, really excited for her opportunities as well. So thank you. And I'll just keep rocking along since I'm already up here.
We got one thing ahead of you, real quick. Let me do my board report real quick. So we're going to move on to 3.1. So discussion and possible action on any board resignation received to date. So we did receive Mr. Scott Walker's resignation effective immediately. That happened on March 27th. So do we have to vote to accept that resignation? Okay, I make a motion to accept Mr. Walker's resignation. Do I have a second? Second from Mrs. Colbert. Mrs. Pugh?
Yes.
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 And we thank Mr. Walker for his time here and his work in our community in support of McAlester schools. With that being said, we will open up for applications again. That's the way that we have to do things. And can we do them, Ms. Pugh, like last time, and at the next board meeting, we will look at. Okay, so the deadline, let's do Monday before the meeting. So what's that deadline? So May 1st deadline. So, and that is seat, I almost said seat 3, that's me, seat 1. So seat 1, so in that area, if you have any questions, if anybody from the community has questions on that, it would be that the border is located on our website under the school board, and the maps are all there. So May 1st is the deadline, and we'll do interviews on May 8th at that meeting. Okay. Moving on to 4.1, Athletic Director Report, Mr. James Singleton.
Okay. As you know, spring is a busy, busy time of the year. I've gotten a large dose of that, so it's been exciting. I've got a little team overview we're going to go over, and we'll talk about some individual honors and recognitions that we have so far for the spring. First with girls soccer, the ladies are currently 6-3. They finished third at the Wagner tournament a couple weeks ago and currently sit in third place in district standings. Our boys are 8-2. They actually won the Wagner tournament a couple weeks ago and are currently tied for 5th. I believe there's a 4-way tie for 5th, so at 1-1. So they'll have an opportunity to make some moves as far as district. Boys golf recently finished first at the McAlester Invitational. Our girls finished third. Both teams finished second at Coweta. Zane Owens finished second at McAlester and at Coweta individually. Both of these teams will be traveling to Duncan and Ardmore for their state previews tomorrow. Also, one thing that our boys and girls golf teams did last week, they had a community outreach project. They laid sod at the country club, so it was an opportunity for them to give back to our country club for all the great things that the country club allows us to do as far as the golf program out there. And also our football players this past month were in charge of our cleanup project at Chaddock. Great job with that. As far as track, all of our relays, boys and girls, are currently in the top 20. Of course, the goal is to get in the top 16 so you can qualify for state. It's going to be really, really tight. A lot of our times are really, really competitive to everybody else in the state, so we're really, really excited about their opportunities. Chaz Bradley is currently ranked first in 5A in long jump and tied for 7th in 100 meters. So he has a great opportunity, obviously, to make it state and compete there. And then Cleveland Williams is currently ranked 10th in long jump. The girls' side, Jalen Spears is currently ranked 5th in the 300 hurdles and 10th in the 100-meter hurdles. Moving on to baseball. Baseball is currently 5-3 in district, and they're currently 4th overall in district right now. So they've got some opportunities. They can win some games here to move on out and be ready for regionals. Tennis, Coach Burns is incremental success. He's got large numbers out in tennis right now, and he's really trying to grow and develop our program, having a lot of success there. And as far as on the coaching side, Coach Jaron Owens, who's a father again, if you guys didn't see that. So congratulations, Coach Owens, on that. But he was also elected by our peers as the Region 6 OCA region representative. So we're really, really excited about that. And then Coach Skimbo, John Skimbo, who's our head boys and girls track coach, he was voted Region 6 track coach of the year. So we've got a lot of coaches that get some accolades and represent our school. And then this week, the highlight of the week, with all this varsity action going on, we have elementary softball and baseball at Mike Deke on Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you're out and about, I believe those are both 10 a.m. start times. So come out and watch a little elementary baseball and softball. So, any questions? Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Rodriguez with curriculum and instruction report.
Okay, so I've got several things to talk about, if you can see that on the agenda. The first thing I want to talk about is the capacity reporting counts. Last month, you remember, there was a discrepancy in the numbers, and I told you I'd figure out what was going on. So when we went from December to January, the calculations on the spreadsheet you get every month, the transfer kids were counted twice. So that has been corrected, but I do want to tell you what I did to kind of look between last month and this month is to see how many kids we had exit and how many kids we had enter, and then kind of where those kids went. So change it up a little bit for you guys to kind of tell you some information. So I'll start with saying that we had 35 exit in March, but 43 enter. So that sounds like a lot of students, but really we had more coming in than we did going out. And just to kind of look at those 35 that went out, 16 of those moved out of district. Like they didn't even go somewhere close, they moved away from here, so they could not go here. We had 6 that were dropped for no attendance. That typically happens in the springtime. And 1 dropped to get a GED. And then we had 5 transfer to Epic and 1 to Frank Chambers. And then we had 4 at the detention center that once they were finished with their time they had to serve there, they went back to where they're from. So that's where those 35 came from that left. But again, with that, 43 came in, so we're actually over 8. We're plus 8. Any questions on capacity and transfers? Okay, so next thing on my list is the school report cards. We don't have them yet. They had to be, any errors corrected and turned into the State Department today by, I think, noon. So next month we should have those. We haven't had them since COVID. They stopped them. So it's been since the 2018, 2019 school year, I believe, that we have like an official one coming out. So we will have those hopefully next month for you all. The Aviation Center, I laid a paper in front of you. I know we've been talking about that and wondering what's going to happen with that. As about this time last year, a little before, we said we were going to use William Gay as our aviation center. And those plans have changed just a little bit to where we're going to be using something that's in a better shape. And we're going to be using Edmund Doyle. So what you see on your map here is just a small piece of Edmund Doyle, which is the gym and 2 classrooms. So on this side like this, you can see that the 2 classrooms will be used for aeronautics in the simulation lab and then the robotics and computer science. On the back side, you can kind of see what the gym will look like laid out. So we've got the drone cages in there. The runways between the drone cages right now have to be done on paper and taken up whenever they're not using them. So they're planning to paint those on the gym floor and then seal that. That way we have those runways there constantly. And then on the right-hand side, you've got the Tango Flight where the tool cage is and the workstations. That will be for the Tango Flight airplane build. And then the robotics arena in the middle. So, and our plan is to have that starting in August. Any questions on the aviation STEM classes?
I have a little bit of news for you and for McAlester. So if you remember, McAlester was chosen through the Choctaw Nation for a NASA grant that they get through, they're using it at Peterball. And because of the ice storm, the event was kind of bumped and we ended up recording it and all of that. And so Karen Whitfield from NASA contacted me, and NASA wanted to do something for the districts. And so I can announce that, and you probably know him, but Ricky Arnold, who is the astronaut that was a teacher, and he is huge in the STEM field, will be doing a live instruction with your classes at the beginning of the school year next year. And that was a gift from NASA to all the schools. So when I can announce it now, I just found out last week, so congratulations. That's going to be really exciting for your schools to be able to do. I mean, he is going to teach your classes, and I just think it's going to be a really unique experience for them. So it will be, I gave them 3 dates. It's NASA, so they'll fit it into their schedule, and then we will just adjust accordingly. But it will be the new middle school will be the ones that get to do that. So congratulations on that. So
That is great news. Will we get to expand it 7th and 8th grade, or just 8th?
it will be your school. So your STEM classes, yes.
Perfect. That is great news. And then I'll finish up with, well, any questions more about the aviation? Okay. We got another grant. If you remember, we got the Project Prevent grant that provided a lot of money for personnel like SROs and another licensed mental health professional and a counselor. Well, then we had a grant from the State Department that would provide training for the multi-tiered system of support. And so there's not a lot of money involved, there's more training, and the financial comes from the training and having a personal coach. And so we applied and we got that. That's in your packet. But I just wanted you guys to kind of be aware of what the State Personnel Development Grant was. And basically it will work in tandem with our Project Prevent grant to train us on the things that were written into the Project Prevent grant. So definitely going to get to work on our multi-tiered system of support for McAlester Public Schools. Any questions on that? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Moving on to the Business Manager and Treasurer's report, Mrs. TRACEY SONTAG.
Good evening. I'm just going to go over the financial sheets with you a little bit. On the first page, where it has general fund, building fund, child nutrition, and so on. If you look at the general fund, you know I said I was going to try to get us up to $3 million in our fund balance and try to keep it there. Well, as you can see, we just hit $3 million in our fund balance. So now my goal is to keep it there for the rest of the year. Our building fund is doing well. I will say that, we've learned with this build that a lot of our things are owner provided, and we learned the hard way. And the contingency went really, really quickly. So a lot of our things that we'll have to provide will be coming out of that building fund. So it's a good thing that we have a really healthy one. So, and we have gotten to do some things out of our federal funding for the build. So that will go back into the building fund as well. So the 1.9 million for the central heat and air, or the HVAC system, will go back into the building fund. Does anybody have any questions on that part? And then if you look at page 2 and 3, the general fund revenue, it took us a little while to get our federal funds flowing in, but if you can look in the 4,000s, we've really started to collect those federal funds for the year and get reimbursed. We moved some of our salaries into Title I, so that's really helped build up that general fund for us, and that money's starting to flow in. We still have a lot to be reimbursed, because some of the programs like Indian Ed, JOM, NYCP, all you pay for, and then they reimburse you for those things after. So we just keep doing those as we go along. And does anybody have any questions on that? And just a correction for last time, I was mistaken, and Gary clarified for me, we have 1 more year with the free lunch program, so we don't really have to worry for another year. So, one more year.
Gives us more time to
Plan. Yes, one more time to plan, so we're excited.
And Tracy, I did have one question, and
Sure.
I know that Dr. Steeber and I mentioned it, or we talked just a little bit. Can you tell me about where we are in pulling sanctioning all of these clubs back?
Yes,
To you?
so.
Can you just give us an update?
Yes, we're meeting with P2E2 tomorrow, and that's kind of the first step. But we have a plan, and we're working on policy, updating our policy so that all the language is correct, and that we, cross our T's and dot our I's so that we're all legal. But we have a plan to move forward with how to work sanctioning where people can get their 501c3 or they come back into the school. And they have a good amount of time to be able to get their 501c3. So, but really tomorrow, that first step will be meeting with P2E2.
Thank you for supporting that. Appreciate you. Any questions for Mrs. Sontag? Okay, and then Assistant Superintendent Report, Mrs. Paula Meadows. Are you good? Okay. And Dr. Steeber.
We had our RAO visit and do all the things that's required in the spring accreditation process. Currently, everything looks good, good preliminary, but that process has been accomplished.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Dr. Steeber? Okay, we'll move on to 5, which is statement of consent agenda. 5.1, the following matters may be approved in their entirety by the board upon motion made, seconded, and passed by majority vote of the board members. However, upon request by any board member, one or more of said matters will be removed from the consent agenda and acted upon separately. So if you've had time to review the consent agenda, does anyone like one or more removed? If not, I will accept a motion to accept the consent agenda in its entirety.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second from Mrs. Colbert. Mrs. Few.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And 8.1, consideration and possible action on going into executive session to discuss the employment and evaluation of the superintendent, employment and resignation personnel as identified on the attached exhibit A, B, and C for the 2022-2023 school year, all in accordance with the provisions of 25 OS Section 307B1. I will make a motion to convene into executive session. Do we have a second? Second from Mrs. Colbert. Mrs. Few.
Yes.
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 Okay. It is 6:40 and we are now in executive session.